All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to day 5. It is the last day of these formal videos, this formal teaching. And then next week, we are going to run the plan that we're going to finalize today and over the weekend. And then I will just be hopping on throughout the week to answer questions and help brainstorm solutions and troubleshoot and help you out. So I think I'd written some ideas of what I was going to talk about in those lives on the website where you guys registered originally, but I'm going to change that up based on what you guys want to talk about. So just kind of looking at your comments on Facebook, it looks like the biggest things that you guys want to work on are mindset. Night eating has come up quite a bit. Eating real lunches rather than eating off the kids' plates or grabbing processed foods on the go. And then eating sweets. So I'll probably hit those 4 and then anything else that comes up over this weekend. Okay, so let's wrap this thing up. All you need to do now is write your plan for next week, okay? And you've got the whole weekend to do it. I know today's Friday. Today might not be the day you want to be doing your nutrition homework. So take the weekend, get this done, but do set aside some time to work on this. This is going to take a little bit of doing. Okay, so here's the plan. Rather than thinking about what we want to do in vague terms, I've said this already, but we want to get as specific as humanly possible. Obviously, we can't just say, I'm going to eat more veggies, or I'm going to eat less processed foods, and it will magically happen, right? You've thought about your specific stretch goals, so that's the first step. So now we need to start thinking more specifically about how we're going to incorporate these things into our days. And so all I'm doing here is forcing you to think realistically about what your day looks like and where this stuff is going to fit in. So you're going to write an eating schedule, super high level, super general. And again, all it is a way for you to visualize what this is going to look like next week. So take a look at your eating schedule. All you do is write out when and what you eat, and by what I don't mean exactly what you eat. That's what you're going to figure out in your 24-hour plan from day to day. I just mean, like, is it lunch? Is it breakfast? Is it dinner? Is it a snack? What is it? Timing of when you eat can be either a specific time, obviously not that you have to eat exactly at that moment, but like roughly when do you eat, what time range, or it can be a relative time, like I'm going to eat after this happens, after my kids eat, when I get home from wherever, something like that. Okay, so then you're going to go back and fill in your stretch goals wherever it makes sense. And make sure, I don't want you to feel like you have to fill in every single box on this eating schedule, okay? So go back and fill in your stretch goals where it makes sense, and then you can leave the other spaces blank, the other rows blank. And then you're going to add in your friction reduction plan. Okay, so how can you reduce, change friction? How can you make it easier to do what you want to do, harder to do what you don't want to do anymore? This is where you'll probably bring in some of those ideas from, what was it, day 3, your stretch goal day, where you thought of everything you could possibly try. Maybe you could incorporate some of those ideas back in, things that didn't make it into your actual stretch goal but could support the stretch goal. So this is also where you would put any prep steps you need to do. So a lot of you are talking about doing more meal planning, making healthy lunches. So think back to what steps need to happen for that to be possible for you. Obviously, you need to know what you're going to want to make so you can go to the grocery store and get those things and have them on hand. And then you need to think realistically about how long it's going to take you to make that on the day. Are you going to have enough time when your kids are running around? Like, how is this going to fit in? So just kind of thinking through those details. Okay, so I have a few examples on here. I was going to do my whole schedule, but I have such a weird schedule that I don't think you'd be able to relate to it. So I just put in a few random examples instead. I've got my coffee one in there, though. I'm going to stick to 1 cup of coffee a day. How am I going to reduce friction on that? I'm going to drink a bunch of extra water. I'm going to incorporate some tea to see if that can fulfill the need for the hot drink without it being actually coffee. For my breakfast example here, incorporate more veggies is not a great stretch goal. So don't look at that as an example of a good stretch goal. But if you're doing something like that, your friction reduction plan has to be your plan for how that's going to happen. So I might roast veggies over the weekend, put them in a Tupperware in the fridge so I can just throw them into eggs every day and scramble them for my breakfast. But you might do something else. Maybe you want to chop up some raw veggies over the weekend that you'll have in the fridge that you can grab really easily. My other example here is no phone while eating. I love this one. I hope some of you are going to do more making eating special stretch goals. I think those are, they probably sound silly to you, but they're so powerful, I think, to be more mindful about your eating. So I love the no phone while eating one. And obviously the way to make it harder to do the thing you used to do, which was maybe be on your phone while you're eating, is to put your phone in your room during meals. So that one's simple. But try not to overcomplicate this, guys. Like I said, you don't need a special instruction after each meal. Just kind of think about how you can fit these things into your day, where they're most likely to pop up, and how you're going to handle that. And we want to get as specific as possible here without digging into specifically what you're going to eat each day, because like I said, that's what you're going to figure out with your 24-hour meal plan the night before. But as specific as you can get about steps you need to take to make these things happen. And if you do have a mindset goal you're working on, you'll probably want to incorporate some of that urge pattern work we talked about yesterday. So when I encounter this thought, here's how I'm going to react. This is what I'm going to do instead of what I used to do. And then think about when that most often pops up in your day. Like, is it a night eating situation? Is it like you get to the end of the day and you feel shame about choices you've made in the day? So when does that pop up and what are you going to do? Okay, the other thing I want you to do this weekend is to do a little meal planning, meal prep. So I recommend going on Pinterest for a while and just getting some inspiration. It can be simple ideas. It can be things you always eat, or it can be actual recipes. And then I recommend choosing a breakfast and lunch for you to eat every day for the whole week, at least for this coming week. I want you to try this. This works so well for me. And if it doesn't work well for other people, it's interesting the reasons. Like a lot of people will say they want more variety, okay? And I think it's very interesting to dig into why that is and how we've attached so much of our joy in our days to what we get to eat. So I think that's just something to look at. And I think when you eat the same food every day, it helps you connect more with the idea that food is fuel. It kind of takes food off its pedestal a little bit. And so I think it's just worth a shot, okay? And I think the other thing I love about meal prepping just for you on the weekend, a breakfast and a lunch, is that you get to eat what you want. And you don't have to think about what the whole family is going to want. They can have some, but it is just for you, okay? So that's the plan for the weekend. Write out your eating schedule. Kind of think about how your stretch goals are going to fit in there. Spend some time on Pinterest, doing a little meal planning, get some inspo. And then next week, we are going to dive in and launch the plan. So remember, your plan is working on those stretch goals, and then remember the 3 guidelines I introduced on the first day that I said I would get back to. So let's go back to them. They are your 24-hour meal plan. So every night, so Sunday will be the first day. Sunday night, you're going to plan what you're going to eat specifically on Monday, and not specifically like amount-wise, but specifically what foods are going to show up in your day. If you do meal planning over the weekend, this makes it super easy because you should have your breakfast, lunch, dinner for the week kind of mapped out. And then all you have to do the night before is add in any extras that you want. So any snacks or any desserts, sweets, drinks, stuff like that. So you can think kind of realistically about, okay, tomorrow is Tuesday. we have this going on Tuesday. I'm probably going to need to change things around in this way. And I know, we don't, our days don't look super different right now in pandemic life, maybe. But you might have little variations from day to day. So that's why the 24-hour plan is super helpful. So that's the first guideline. The second one is we're going to eat from our -2 to our 2 on the hunger scale. So we're going to wait until we feel a little bit hungry, and then we're going to eat until satisfied, but not stuffed. And this is where the urge patterns come in. So if you feel the urge to eat when you're not hungry, first of all, I just want to say if you are never hungry, that's an issue too, right? That you do need to eat, obviously. So if you're never hungry, it's probably a hormonal issue, and we should talk separately about that. You want to get your metabolism up so that you are hungry at regular intervals throughout the day. Anyway, but if you're not hungry and you just want to eat because of an emotion or a habit, determine what's going on, use the urge jar we talked about yesterday, and then practice allowing the feeling you're having rather than resisting it or distracting yourself from it. And then the third thing is protein in every meal. So it wouldn't hurt to spend some time refreshing on what protein sources are and which ones you like this weekend if you're not already super familiar with them. Yeah, and then like I said, the lives next week are going to be dependent on what you guys want to talk about. So send me your questions this weekend as you're doing this. You can email me back or post on Facebook, and that will kind of dictate where things go next week. But I am just kind of planning on hopping on. I will try to give you a certain time. It's probably going to be in the early afternoon when I do the lives. Obviously, you can watch them whenever you want. And I will just tackle some of these tricky areas and hopefully help resolve some challenges. So that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck with your homework. Let me know how I can help. And I will see you bright and early Monday for week 2, doing week. Okay? Have a good weekend, guys. Bye.